So if you've been keeping up here in TMP, you know that my gun review format has changed. It's now called the Enhanced Lightweight, or Lightweight GRV. Not covering all the details I used to in years past. It is officially, by the way, year 11 of TMP. Been working at this for a while. And I used to put in a lot of detail, too much detail in the videos, and I'm not doing it anymore. I cut it down to the most important parts of the weapon system, and I try to give you some data. Number one, were you smart in buying it? Because a lot of guys click on the video because they already have it. Or will you be smart in buying it if you're researching? And this is just part of your research process, watching a Nutnfancy gun review, in this case on the actually pretty excellent SIG 716. Now this is a Gen 1 DMR rifle, 18-inch barrel. I have researched pretty heavily the G2, wasn't able to get one for test and review. But this review is going to kind of function for both versions. I might do an update on a G2 716 later. And I'll tell you what, let's work backwards on those three talking points, if you will. First up, would I buy it? So usually I do features, how did it shoot, and then I answer, would I buy it? We're going to go backwards. The answer is yeah, I would buy it. Maybe not a Gen 1, and I'll come back to why I said maybe, but from what I know about the 716 G2, 2.5 pounds or so lighter than this version, how it looks and how this shot, I'm assuming the G2 shoots as well, yeah, I would buy that gun. But there's a couple caveats here. One, it's the G2, the 716 Gen 2 is extremely expensive. I mean, it's up there to LWRC Reaper territory, SCAR, that is a 17S territory. That's a lot. I think it's retailing at $3,250. That's a lot of money for a single gun. Think about that. You can go get a Smith & Wesson M&P 10 for what, 12, 13, get glass on it. I mean, this one's the CQB setup. I've shown it lots, just wearing a Holosun 503CE. But you get a good scope, extra mags, and you'd still be well under that. And I'm talking MSRP, but street, it's still going to be pretty expensive under that amount. There's guys that do it all the time. Guys that will go out and spend $3 grand on a 308 AR-10 style of rifle. This is the style. This is actually a piston gun. That's a DI gun at the top. But would I buy it? Yeah, I would. It shoots really good. But again, I want to really be clear. I would go for the Gen 2 because of the lightweight. Let's go back to the other thing I said. Would I might buy a Gen 1. And that really depends. In my lightweight GRV, I don't talk a lot about philosophy of use. But to answer this, would I buy it? We have to touch on it. If I foresee using this in a static defensive location or a marksmanship role, maybe I'm a SWAT team member, I'm an armorer, or someone who has a say on what type of team rifle my guys buy and use, this would be a great rifle. Because weight is our friend then. I mean, with a mag, this dang 716 Gen 1 weighs 10 pounds 8 ounces. That's a lot of weight. And that's, I think, with a steel mag in it. This is a Brownells aluminum. It's going to be a little bit less, but I have it written here on stock. It's 10 pounds even without a magazine. What? That's a lot. And this is what, 8-ish? Yeah, the G2, that is the 716 G2, if the numbers are right, I think it's going to weigh around 8.5 pounds or so. Again, I haven't really handled or shot that one. So all this is I'm saying about the G2 is tentative, but I just have a feeling it's going to rock. I really do. I've been doing this for a while, and I just think that the 716 G2 is going to be a total win. That's not to say that the Gen 1 is not recommended. It is. You just got to ask yourself, is a heavy 308, or in this case 76251 weapon system, SAPR, good for what I plan on using it for? If you're going to the range, perfect. DMR, perfect. Defense against high sea pirates, perfect. That weight settles it down. Toss and seize, you can make hits more readily over a lightweight rifle. Absolutely, it makes sense. WRL rifle, hell no. anything that I'm going to be running and gunning with this, transporting it in addition to other things, LBE, food, water, medical supplies, no. And Jardine and I were out there running gun with it, and I asked him, I was like, would you buy this and run with it? And he's like, no way. No way. Just too heavy. Oh, you guys are out of shape. You need to work out. No doubt. No argument. That's for sure. But I think most people are going to have a hard time integrating this and being highly mobile. Let's just leave it at that. Philosophy of use discussion right there. So would I buy it? Yeah. What I would really do, though, is I'd look very carefully at my value formula on the 716, and oftentimes on the internet, it's so funny, something new comes out or something's talking, and that's like the darling child of the moment, and everyone's just like, yeah, that's it, forgetting all the other great guns that have come before that are no longer new but are still out there. One's at the top, M&P 10 Smith & Wesson, still one of my all-time favorite 308 AR-10 rifles. Love it, highly recommend it. When guys ask me which one to buy, I just go get an M&P 10 and call it good. But it's got proprietary features. So does this. This is highly proprietary. I mean, where's the advantage? Most of them are. There's a couple, like, the DPMS ones, you can swap things out, but build your own. A lot of guys do that, and sometimes have problems. I just talked to a guy who put together a 308 AR-10. He can't get it to cycle. He's like, what do I do? I was like, well, barring for me getting the gun and just kind of tearing it apart and see how your build went, I can't answer that. That is the advantage of buying a factory rifle. I actually did a poll in the last AR-10 style of carbine review, and I asked the dudes, you guys, I said, hey, do you need a 308 in your system? And I was a little bit surprised at the results. I haven't checked on it in about a week and a half or 2 weeks, but I think it was tracking pretty evenly split, where guys said, no, I don't need a 308, I'm good with 5.56. I think 308, do I need one? It was having a slight advantage with guys saying yes. I would be realistic in that if I were you. If you want it for second cool, hey, I just like going to the range, I like the blast, I like shooting a SAPR, heavy hitter, awesome. That's second cool, you can't fault it. But if you say, yeah, I really need it, for WRL, do you? I mean, if you're living somewhere where your longest shot's going to be 100 yards, you don't need a 308, says me. I don't think so. I mean, it's where I am at. I mean, I can go long shots out to 500 all day long. For me personally, I like having it. Not just for long shots and not for simplifying the dope when winds are kicking up out in the desert as a testing and review guy, but also for optical penetration, heavy hitter. I mean, it'll go through glass, it'll go through light metal, depending on which round you're shooting. So, there you go, I like it. I think I answered that, would I buy it? CDNN, by the way, was selling some extra barrels for 716s earlier this year. I don't know if they're still there, and I don't know if you really need them. I think this barrel is just about ideal, and we're going to kind of jump into features right now. Again, it's 18 inches. It is a cold hammer forged chrome lined barrel, 1 in 10 twist, chambered in 7.6251. Here you go. And you can see the profile. I mean, that's a thick barrel. This is where some of the weight is coming from. Let me break out my O-light right here. That's a thick barrel. I mean, all the way through. This is the old style of gas block too. So the newer G2 uses kind of the same style that the SIG 516 redesigned has. So they've milled out a lot of metal, they've simplified the gas block, and there may have been a couple iterations of the 716 gas block. You can search on the internet and find if you're interested, but that's one of those details most guys aren't. The G2s, I think, is superior. It's lighter weight, simpler, still for position. The gas block is, I mean, it's got off, normal, suppress, and adverse conditions, or max gas. I just left it in normal the whole time. Then never touched it. Didn't have to cycle it. But if you had to on the Gen 1, you just take a bullet tip and rock it around. Is it clearly labeled? Not really. Just like most gas adjustment systems on these piston guns, it sucks as far as being clear and where you are. I think they should do a lot better job in making it idiot proof. Because sometimes out there, I'm an idiot. And I'm like, where did I put this? I don't know. What system is it on? What position is it in? I don't know. It's like the 5th gun I've shot that day. It's easy to forget. Barrel's good though. Look at the difference in thickness of the M&P 10 post gas block. This is a lot thinner up front. And keep in mind, this is a gun that shoots MOA. So I don't necessarily think we need a barrel absolutely this thick to achieve some amazing accuracy. Witness also the FN17S. It's that way. It has a very thin barrel. And in that review, I talked to that and I go, you know, I was kind of doubting that this gun would shoot so well, and it shot MOA with a skinny 16-inch barrel, that FN. Go figure. With no heat stringing that I could see. So it's got the combination brake on it here. We didn't like the brake. We didn't think it compensated at all, and that it was a huge compromise. Hey, I can screw on my, what is it, whatever that is, I forget, AAC suppressor. Okay. You know, to me, I just think it's a huge compromise. I'd rather run a dedicated brake on there, like a Battle Comp 762, any number of great brakes. Then if I have to throw on a can, then I'll dedicate a can to it. I'll screw on can, and it stays on there. Because here's the deal. You put your can on, your suppressor, your POI, dude, it changes a lot. You know, and guys act like they can take the can off and on and keep the same point of impact. It ain't going to happen. Not in my experience. It changes a lot. So you either leave it off or leave it on. And in that case, I'll just screw it on and leave it. There you go. Rant complete. So it worked okay. It was super loud. It didn't really seem like it compensated much. We'll talk about that one and when we get to how it shot. In this DMR version, Gen 1, you do have this amazingly heavy and old-fashioned quad rail. And this is where a lot of the weight of this version is coming from. Big old quad rail, unneeded metal, pick rail sections, thicker barrel. 20 inches by, I'm sorry, 18 inches, not 16. So a way that they can save weight is take 2 inches off the barrel, right? That's a very common game employed in the AR-10 world. Hey, it's too heavy. Roger that, 16-inch barrel. Now we can brag that it's 8 pounds. I myself like an 18-inch barrel, M&P10, you know, whatever. I can live with a 16, but more blast, a little bit less recoil. Well, I'll take an 18, thank you very much. But there's a weight. I hate this pick rail. It's too thick. It's old-fashioned. And it was very stable, however, on the barricade. So we're shooting off the TNP barricade, and we remarked at how, you know, anything where there's a 90-degree angle, that this settled right in and made shooting the gun so much more easy. The G2, once again, has a very nice and upgraded rail on it, and that one looks like a SIG MCX rail to me, which is to say it's very ventilated, skeletonized, it's very lightweight and relatively trim, and it looks great. I think the 716 G2 rail, it will solve all the problems we're talking about with the Gen 1, and it's going to save a lot of weight off the gun, which also, speak of the devil, the 16-inch barrel will as well of the G2. So they wanted to lighten it up. What they do, just what I said, knock off 2 inches, and it has a different proprietary brake on it. It looks like a Tiger Tank brake on the G2. It looks cool. Don't stand to the side of it though. You're going to get owned in blast. Owned. G2 though, that's kind of where I'd go, and the one I would focus on. BUIS included with this version. You may or may not get it. It might be an additional cost if you want it. I mean, yeah, you might get the SIG version of it, then you know it works. As far as the rail height on this, I didn't really research it. As long as you use the same BOS, though, it should be fine. I didn't use them because we outfitted this one with still one of my favorite all-time reviewing scopes, and that's this Nikon ProStaff 7, link in the bottom. Running an Aero Precision super lightweight 30mm mount and FD, this particular version, link at the bottom in the description. Kind of my go-to mount. You don't need a QR mount because you're going to lose RTZ, man. It just doesn't work. Hey, I got a quick release mount. Roger that. How's that return to zero? Got some dried blood on the table. Awesome. Return to zero sucks. Now I'm shooting 6 inches off at 100 yards. Hey, I thought this was supposed to return to zero. Yeah, that's what they say. Like, we'll take a LaRue mount off and we're like 6 inches off when we come back and shoot. And that's a high quality mount, but return to zero, forget it. Just run these and leave it on. And then if you really want to, just keep your Torx wrench in your compartment here in a foam piece so it doesn't rattle. And then if you have to take it off, you can take it off. Won't be quick, but you can do it. ProStaff 7 though, that was the glass. Great glass, not illuminated, super big dials, and it's lightweight. Great picture. Ballistic reticle. Mini scope review, what do you know? That doesn't add much weight to this gun though, this whole optic setup. But a lot of guys will go with some, like a Night Force US optic setup, and dang, dude, their system's going to weigh like 17 pounds because they weren't watching the ounces. Speaking of which, what do you think this weighs? No, so I said 10 pounds, 8 ounces with a mag. Let's see. I bet you this is over 13 pounds. And that's without a sling, without a bipod, and unloaded. Yep, 13 pounds, 3 ounces, brah. Woo, that's heavy, man. And by way of contrast, this is always fun. M&P 10. Now, granted, this is a CQB setup. It doesn't have glass on it. But it's just fun. 8.8. 8.8 with a 20-round PMAG in it. So, yeah. Going back to that POU discussion. Sometimes weight's good. You know, if you're a marksman, you're at the range, you want to settle it down. All the competitors like heavy rifles. I'm talking like bench rest competitors, not 3-gun guys. You know, if you do like heavy metal competition, I don't know if I'd be wanting to run a Gen 1. G2 maybe. I don't have enough arm strength to swing that sucker around so fast. Features. Forged receiver in the Gen 1. I think G2 has it as well. I could be wrong. Said it before, I'll say it again. I prefer forged over billet any day. Kind of a smaller, same location as AR-15, AR-10 safety selector. Fully ambidextrous in this one. There's your controls on the left side. SIG emblem. And I'm just seeing what the serial number on this is 23 Delta 014831. Thanks to Gunnies, by the way, the Great American Gun Store, for loaning me this gun for test and review. Without them, you wouldn't be having this tabletop. So contact information below. This gun will be for sale with a certificate of that it was tested in DMP for what it's worth. But basic stuff here. Enlarged trigger guard, and I believe this is a Geisley trigger in there, and the trigger was amazing. We absolutely love the trigger in the SIG 716 Gen 1 DMR. Still think they're running Geisleys in it. Brakes for this one about 4 pounds for us. I won't pull it now. You guys see the part of the bolt carrier group in there. It's a single piece bolt carrier group. And actually, there is one thing I'm going to change. I'm going to crack it open because there is one thing I want to show you. I'll try to keep my hands clean here. So here we go. I guess I did crack into it. Here's your bolt carrier. So like I said, single piece. So there's no stake gas key. Look at your bolt. Super quick. And then flared out end of the BCG here. And what I was going to show you was this portion here. I did know that right here, there's just a little bit of rub. It's not much. This is why I hate taking this crap apart. Oh, tabletop's all greased. Right here. There's a little bit of rub here. I don't know if you can see it. I would classify it as probably normal wear and tear. I'm not super concerned about it. I know, I need to put some light on there. There you go. You can see it now? Holding this 13-pound gun up with one arm. That's tough. Look at the trigger right here. I mean, cracking this open, there's really nothing that gives me any pause. Like, oh, this isn't wearing right. That's not what I'm saying. Just call it gee whiz. I think there's a Badger Ordnance extended latch on this charging handle. So that's one piece you won't have to upgrade. And by the way, I think it's proprietary, as a lot of parts are on the 716. So, you know, that's common in the AR-10 world. If you want interchangeability, you probably ought to go with a DPMS style of rifle, or one that has that compatibility on it. Albeit, I just got done reviewing the G2 DPMS, and it did not do so great. In fact, I have a round here from that gun that I forgot to show you this on the tabletop. It like bent when it went into the gun, and I couldn't get it out. It took me forever to get it out, and then I was going to show it on the tabletop. I forgot. It's all dinged up here on the casing. That was out of a DPMS, not this gun. This one has a Myad grip on it. I don't really run Myads anymore. They're a little bit too heavy. I'll run an MOE. It's still one of my favorite grips. And then on this version, it has a PRS stock on it, which I'm not super fond of. I would never put on one of my guns. I'm just saying. It weighs 29 ounces if my data is correct. And that is adding a lot of weight to the 716 G1. You get the quad rail, the barrel, and then the PRS. Yeah, and a heavier gas block. It's hefty. Now the upside to it, it's highly adjustable. Like it can adjust from, I have it written down here, like 14.3 inches to 15.7 in length of pull. Cheek piece can go up and down like an inch. That's cool, I guess. Oh, one thing I forgot to talk about on the receiver is it has a beautiful monolithic pick rail up here for absolute consistency. Short break before we go to accuracy to introduce the players on the table. We still have dumbass civilian stickers on order. I hear about it all the time. Hey, dude, we need more dumbass civilian stickers and patches in the web store. I know, they come in and they sell out. Check back frequently. I get on Doodle all the time. Keep them stocked up, dude. He tries. What can I say? Microtech Halo. They're on the table. Ooh, always a welcome player here. It just looks cool. Eye candy. TMP old school patch. Shark patch. Still love that. One of my all-time favorites. And then the T38 Talon, which my dad named. Didn't know that, did you? Yep. And I flew it in this year. 1994, 92 through 94, I was flying T-38 Talons in the U.S. Air Force ACE program. So cool! Loved it. And then it came into service in 1959. So that's just kind of a commemorative T-38 Talon patch. I got some aviation patches I'm going to start rolling on tabletops. Just for grins, dudes. Just for grins. Accuracy of the SIG 716. Here we go. First ball. Did okay. I wouldn't say it's amazing. I mean, this is an Austrian STG 58 ammo, XM80C. That's not bad with that ammo. That's okay. This is, oh, that's a Mini 30 group. That tabletop review's coming, by the way. Federal XM80C, some soft point, blunt tip. Is okay. I wasn't super impressed. But when I put match ammo in it, it shot pretty good. And I don't have that paper. In fact, I don't even think I have the video. I might have to go back to the range and do it again. If so, I'll either roll it in here or roll it in at the end of the video of how it shot. But I'm going to say it's an MOA player. That it'll shoot into MOA if you do your part. If you do your part. I think it's as accurate as MR762, the H&K one, and possibly as accurate as M&P10. Here's a look-see here. Look at this. This is from this. Let me make sure this is the right one. No, it's from its brother. I have one set up for long range. 168 grain AMAX. Dudes, I mean, look at this. That's an M&P10. So it shot well. How about reliability?
Okay, ready?
Well, at the range, not the desert, it did have a couple failures to go into battery on the initial load with steel case. And then, if I remember right, it just went away. And in the desert, it was 100% reliable with every magazine we tried, with every load we tried, including steel-cased ammunition. We used PMags. You'll see that in action. We used the Brownells 20s. I used the DPMS steel mags, and they were all perfect. So if it can survive the curse of the desert, thumbs up. And I think the G2 would shoot just as well. I think. I mean, we don't know for sure, but if it does and it weighs 2.5 pounds lighter than this, count me in. Cost notwithstanding, though. How did it shoot? Fairly excellent overall. Very smooth, by the way, and very quick follow-up shots. Jardine's out there. I asked him, I was like, hey, what do you like about this gun? And, you know, unbiased opinion. He doesn't come in with any prejudice whatsoever. He goes, I love how it shoots. Love the trigger on it. I like the fast follow-up shots. I like that it's accurate. I like that it's reliable with everything we're throwing in it. We just didn't see any problems out in the desert. And so that's really the testing ground that I like proving all the guns in. If they can come out of the desert and do well, then I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I would have liked to have done it in Arctic conditions, but the time of year it just didn't play out. But recommended, though. The Gen 1 is heavy, and it's not exactly cheap. That's something you just have to take into consideration. But it is very reliable. It's very accurate. It's I guess I really didn't talk about that. It is kind of a second cool thing, in that you won't see them everywhere. For certain POUs, it'll make sense. I think the 716 G2 is where it's at. It's going to be lighter. It looks amazing. It looks very cool. It's probably going to possess the same accuracy, the same level of reliability. It's just expensive as hell. And only you can answer if it's worth it. I mean, I gave you the value discussion going with something else like an M&P10 with optics, but you know, you decide. Your money, bro. Good luck. I'm done.
I'll tell you, that gun has a really nice trigger. Feels nice to shoot. Really nice up against the barricade because I don't have to hold it up.
Yeah, it's heavy and it stabilizes it, right?
It really does. This quad rail bites right into the corner of your barricade and it really doesn't move much. It's easy to just hammer away. I like the grip. What is that? That's a Magpul Myad, looks like, but the grip feels good.
Yep.
It's a nice gun. Did it come configured like this? Pretty much. I mean, it came with all this stuff.
It was. That's out of box.
Yeah.
For that particular iteration of 716. It's a great team rifle. Like for a call-out rifle, dude. For PDs, that's an awesome team rifle.
100%.
Load up 2 more mags, bro.
Okay, go do it.
And keep the gun here.
Good idea.